All right, hello, welcome everyday riders. Welcome to the channel. This is your boy Everyday Rider. If you're new to the channel, feel free to hit that subscribe and like button. I'm almost at 100 subscribers, so it'd mean the world to me if you just hit that button. Today we're talking about the long anticipated, just released 2023 Honda Transalp. That is what we are here to talk about. Just released it today, so we don't have too much information, but we're going to do a little review on it, give you some specs compared to some of the other models, and give you all my first impression on review, and potentially, will this be my next motorcycle? Possibly, but let's get into the video. First of all, it is 5 o'clock. Traffic is not looking too good, so I do apologize about that, but we're going to get into the video. We got my spec sheet right here. First, let's talk about some specs, obviously. Honda Transalp is sitting pretty much right in between, it seems like, all the other mid-size adventure motorcycles. The ones I'm really going to compare it to today are the XL750, probably the most comparable, the Ducati X, the Aprilia 660, also another very comparable motorcycle, and then last but not least, the KTM 890. Kind of comparable, not really, but all mid-size adventure motorcycles. I think they're all pretty, you know, a lot of really good adventure motorcycle news coming out recently. If you don't know, I'm really into the adventure motorcycles. I think that's probably going to be my next motorcycle. I'm not going to get rid of the CBR. I still want to keep this around for track days, but I do want a nice commuter, kind of go up on more longer trips, and at least have this one for kind of more fun track days and whatnot. But Honda Transalp, let's get into some of the specs. Sitting at, of course, with the CCs of 755 cc, wrapping in a total of 90.5 horsepower at 55.3 torque. I think that's around at 7,000 RPM, which is a little bit high in my opinion. I think you're gonna not really a lot down low end in that power range, so a little disappointed there. But when you compare that to the other specs, especially the Tenere, which is probably the most comparable, and same with the Touareg 660, I think it you know, it's definitely out kind of performs on those two motorcycles. The Tenere 700 is coming in at a little bit smaller of an engine, 689 cc, whopping out 74 horsepower, so it's almost got 16 more horsepower on top of the Tenere 700. And this only has a little bit bigger engine size. When you compare that to the Touareg's got a little bit more, but it still doesn't match up to that to the new Transalp. The Touareg 660's got 80 horsepower compared to the Transalp 90.5, so still got, you know, 10 more horsepower, but still up in their competing range. Now, when you of course compare it to the Ducati Desert X and the 890, those are pushing out a little bit more horsepower, but they do have a little bit bigger engine size. Ducati Desert X repping up 937 cc, 890, KTM 890 of course has that 890 cc cylinder. All very comparable bikes, but when you think about the weight class, you know, you would think Honda Transalp has got a bigger engine size, it'd be a lot heavier than the Tenere. It's only 8 pounds heavier. The Honda Transalp's weighing in at 458 pounds wet, while the Yamaha Tenere is weighing in at 450 pounds wet as well. Same with the Touareg, right at 450 pounds. So all three of those bikes, very similar weight, yet that Transalp is still beating them. It's got the better specs. But let's talk about price. So this is definitely a big kind of category for a lot of us. MSRP, we do not know yet of the Transalp, but with the 2023 Hornet projected to be right around 8,000 MSRP, I'm thinking probably 10 to 12k is gonna be very comparable to the Tenere 700. I think it's going to come in around $10,000 to $12,000. If they can get that below it, then that's going to be one hell of a deal. It's definitely going to make Yamaha compete for their money. And hopefully, you know, I don't think it's going to be more than 12,000 in general, just because the Honda Advocate Twins base model is coming in right at 1,500 or 15,000. I'm not gonna go straight. Yeah, yes I am. Ah, damn, I want to get around this guy. But yeah, price range on the new Transalp is probably looking pretty good. It does have quite a few packages. I believe there's 5 different packages. They got the urban, the touring, the rally mode, which is kind of looking up my alley if I were to get this motorcycle. I believe they also got a comfort one. So lots of different packages that you can get for. Obviously, you know, more packages, the more money you're gonna spend on it. But I really don't see the Transalp pushing over $12,000. With the packages, maybe you're spending 13, but yeah, really don't see it going over too much. Let's talk about seat height. The Transalp is actually coming in with the smallest seat height, or the shortest seat height, of 33.5. T7's coming at 34.4. Touareg coming in at 33.8. I think the Caddy X is also coming at 34.4, comparable to the T7, and then KTM is coming at 34.6. And on top of that, I think there's also the possibility of a shorter seat height for the Transalp, which you get at like 32.8, I believe. So for all those shorter inclined people similar to myself, going in at 5'8", you have the option to lower the seat height. Miles per gallon on the Transalp is coming in around 54 miles per gallon with a fuel tank capacity of 4.5 gallons. So roughly you can get about 200 gallons to a tank, or 200 miles to a tank. But just like most all the other adventure motorcycles on this list, it does have a 20-inch front wheel, 18-inch rear wheel. It does have that adventure classic setup, long suspension trail. Don't remember the clearance, I didn't see that stat, but looking at the photos and the pictures, it didn't really look like it had that much ground clearance, unfortunately. The skid plate did seem to come down pretty low. So maybe there's some tweaks that you can do to it, kind of give it a little bit more ground clearance, but we'll see once the bike fully comes out, we get some more specs to it. Guys, feel free to comment below if you have any additional specs that I didn't cover in this video that you want to just point out, or just your first impressions. Feel free to comment that in the description below. Let's talk TFT display. TFT display is coming at 5 inches. Nice little square rectangle TFT display, and it's going to have all your different modes, similar to kind of what the Africa Twin has. It's got your sport, your standard, your rain, gravel. It has a user mode to where you can really customize it, where you can take off rear ABS, you can take off front ABS. That's really your very customizable setting right there. Really cool looking display. I know that compared to the Tenere is really lacking on kind of electronics and the TFT display, so even with that comparable price range, the Transalp does have that added TFT display that's really kind of nice. One other thing to add on to it, I believe it comes in the Rally Edition package. You do get quick upshift and downshift, so if that's something that intrigues you, kind of like myself, geez, I thought that guy was going to come in front of me. If that's something that really intrigues you and kind of really fits your kind of need for what you want, I mean, I know I definitely want a quick shifter, especially if it auto blips to the downshift. I think that'd be freaking awesome. They do have that in the Rally Edition package. Let's talk about first impressions, my opinion on it. What do I think about this bike? I'll be honest, guys, first impression, I was a little disappointed. I'm a big kind of on styling, and I do like looks. That's personally, that's just one of my kind of critiques when it comes to bikes and cars and just kind of what I'm into. And I was a little disappointed when I first saw the Transalp preview, and it literally looks exactly like the Hornet but with an adventure style, and I was not a big fan of the Hornet. I personally just don't think it looks good. I don't like the front. I wish it had more of a kind of unique headlight situation, similar to what the Africa Twin has, or maybe even something like the Yamaha Tenere, where it's got that crazy looking light situation. But no, this is it's very, I don't know, just the looks are just, I just personally don't like them. I think the headlight is just a little bulky. Seems very like 2010 styling. So hopefully, I don't know, maybe, I'm sure once the bike finally does come out and there's plenty of mods out there, possibly there will be a situation or probably a potential headlight mod that will improve the looks of the front. I do like the coloring. I do like the wheels and the rims. I'm a big fan of what the Honda Africa Twin looks like. If you don't know, I really like the gold rims on the Honda Africa Twin and that styling, and they think they really transfer that over into the Transalp, and they really brought in that retro look. Like, they did a great job at bringing in those colors from the previous old Transalps from 1990, even the 2008 models, which was only released in Europe. So I do think the coloring look good. The only problem I don't like is the headlight situation and the front look. Other than that, I think the specs are great. I think the TFT display is great. From my understanding, it'll probably have iPhone connectivity. The seat looks very comfortable. Obviously, can't really get my impressions on it unless I sit on it. It looks like it carries plenty of baggage. You can two up on it very easily. It seems like there's a lot of space for the second person to be on the back. Overall, I think it's a really good looking bike. I'm not in the market yet to buy an adventure motorcycle. That's hopefully within the near year or two. But the Honda Transalp will definitely be on my list. Personally, I would love to spend the extra cash and get the Honda Africa Twin, but we'll see. I do kind of like the idea of having a mid-weight adventure motorcycle over a heavyweight, just because the weight situation, a little bit better off-road. But yeah, we will see. Looking forward to it. I think that's it for the video. I've pretty much covered all the specs. We'll get more information on the Transalp when they finally release some more information. Hopefully get some MSRP details. But I hope you liked that video, Everyday Riders. Feel free to comment your thoughts on the new Transalp and kind of what your just opinions on it. Do you like it? Do you think the style looks good? What about the specs? What about the other comparison to the other motorcycles on the list that I talked about? Did I miss anything that you think I should have covered? But yeah, feel free to comment, hit that like button, and subscribe. Almost at 100 subscribers. Let's see if we can get there during this video. In the meantime, enjoy the everyday ride, and I'll catch you all on the flip.